Alright, what's up guys? JR here. It is Monday, September the 25th, 2017, and this is going to be my trading day. I'm going to go long right here as soon as this bar closes. I'm going to see if I can get in there with the limit order one tick better. Let me just go ahead and put my limit in right now. And drag it down so that way I don't get ticked in. But I'm going to wait until we break above this bar, then I'm going to drop a limit order in at what price is that? The price is going to be 97 flat. The high of this is 98 flat, so ideally I'd like to get in at 96.75, but I don't want to get too conservative. I was hoping that this bar would close at I think it was trading down at 96.50 at one point in time. I was hoping it would close there so I could just enter on a stop and have enough room to get out before this high. But what we have here is a failed second entry short. We had an area of congestion right there, so that also serves as a failed break lower. We had a short-term trend line working down, a break, push to a new low, another attempt to go lower, and then we have a second attempt to go lower right here. So I do think we're going higher. We're going to retest this high most likely, and probably retest this one. And most likely this is probably going to be a range day. It's still a little bit early to tell, but from the looks of it, it's looking range-like to me. So we may come on all the way back up here to retest these overnight highs. But as soon as we break above this, I'm just going to go ahead and slide my limit order right on up. But just going to go to pause to minimize the length of this video, and I'll be back in a second. Alright, so we're in the trade right now. I'm just going to go ahead and tighten my stop. Actually, I think I'm going to leave it at 2 points. Yeah, I'm going to leave my stop at 2 points. It puts us right down here. What's the word? I'm tired. Sorry guys, I'm tired this morning, but our stop is in line with this low. I could tighten it and make it one tick beneath my signal bar. I don't see that much of a point because we're at 2 ticks beneath it right now, and it would only be 7 ticks worth of risk. One more tick isn't that big of a deal to me, but I think we should be good with this trade. It's a nice failed second entry. It's a trap, and yeah, we should pop on up pretty nicely. I'm just going to go back to pause, and I'll be back as soon as this thing starts moving. Alright, so it appears to be backing up on us a little bit right here. This is pretty surprising. I really expected this thing to take off faster, but it's a second entry long as well. I forgot to mention that. And also the second entry actually just failed once we broke beneath this bar right here. So we'll see what happens, but hopefully we don't get stopped out on this. This is a pretty big stop, but I'm still confident about the trade. I like this setup. It's a bit sideways, but I actually like the fact that it's sideways because we get that failed break right here in conjunction with the failed second entry and the second entry long. So I like this setup. We'll see what happens, but I'm just going to go back to pause. Okay, so this bar is very concerning. We broke lower right here, then we broke above the bar, traded up, and we have basically like a triple top right up there. I think I may get stopped out right here. This may be a short setup, but I'll see. I'm just going to hold it. But yeah, this is really concerning. It still could turn up and go up, but this is quite concerning. So it's looking like they're selling it. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good at all. Alright, so it's looking like we may be coming back. Now the dilemma is whether or not to just exit with what I can get or try to hold it and see if we rock it on up. That's the tricky part, because I've been closing a lot of these trades at break even and then watching them continue in the direction that I initially thought they were going in. So I don't know, but what I do know is that I am going to tighten this stop to 1 tick beneath my signal bar. I know that 1 tick doesn't make that much of a difference considering the fact that you start off at 8 and you move to 7, but yeah, we may even go higher right here. So I'm gonna hold this. This was really concerning though, If I wasn't already in this trade, I probably wouldn't have entered this short anyways due to this congestion and the higher lows. So I think I may be okay because I really like this setup. I was pretty confident about it. I thought we were going to take off a lot faster, but we got hung up right here in this resistance. So if we do break through this, we should get a nice little pop to the upside. And then if you look at this, this is really one leg up, pull back, and then this is kind of like a second leg. So this is basically a two-legged correction, and we might get another leg like this up. So let me go ahead and measure that. That puts us right past our first target and kind of in the middle of our second target. So the first target is 1 point, and then the second target is 2 points, which is going to be 99 flat and 98 for the first one. But yeah, I'm just going to go back to pause again, and depending on how this bar closes and the next bar trades, I still may exit this, but I think we're going to be okay. But this is a lot of sideways movement. But we've tried to go lower multiple times, and each time the highs, I mean the lows are getting progressively higher, but the highs are staying the same. If you notice that there's pretty decent resistance up top here. But we'll see. This is a nice, good, strong bullish bar. It opened down here, closed one tick off of its high, which is basically in line with all the rest of these highs, but I think we'll be okay. I'm going to go ahead and tighten my stop to one tick beneath this, because we're going to count this as our signal bar now, since that was a pretty decent move down, and it's the most recent swing. So this is 6 ticks worth of risk on the trade now. So but yeah, back to pause. Alright, so we're 1 tick away from our exit on the first contract right now. And I think we're going to see a nice little pop once we get a few ticks above this area, and we should take off pretty quickly. Alright, so we got that first contract off. We still haven't traded through it just yet, but I think we're going to do that right now. I probably should move this up a bit higher because I'm fairly confident that we will take out this high and get a nice push up. Let me see what the 50% level would be. I don't really use these Fibonacci's too much. It's just nice to know exactly where 50% is, so I can kind of get a better feel for how far things are going to pull back and stuff like that. So the 50% level is basically, I think that's 1 or 2 ticks above where I have my current second contract. So I'll leave my stop, not my stop. Sorry guys, I'm tired, but I'll leave my actually, I don't even know if I'm going to leave my target where it is. I'm just going to go to pause and I'll think about this. So, yeah. Alright, so we just popped up really quickly. This is a good trade. A little unnerving when we pulled back right there. Thought I got trapped for a second, but yeah. And another reason why you wouldn't want to take this is it's right into support. You're stacked up pretty heavily right there. You don't really want to go short into support like that. And as you can see, all they did was they had another failed break and they trapped them and reversed it right on up out the highs. So I feel like this is really going to give us more than just this, but I'm just going to take it off. Alright, so that's 3 points right there, nice and easy. I'm probably going to keep going higher, but I'm going to look for one more trade and then call it quits for the day. So back to pause for now. Alright, so I wouldn't recommend this, but I'm going to see if I can short this right here and take 2 ticks. I may miss the short, but let me just show you guys why I look at these Fibonacci sometimes, because this will really help you. I think I had it measured. I think that's the low right there. So if you look at this, I don't know if you remember, but I was talking about the 50% level, and if you look at where we started stacking up, it's pretty much exactly right there at 50%. We had about 3 bars. It's stacked up with matching highs, and then we had a 1 tick breakout, and then it turned down and closed basically 1 tick off of its low. We also have 2 legs up, one leg, pull back to a correction, then basically another two-legged correction, and then a second leg down, and then another leg up. So pretty good ways away from the EMA. I don't want to move this down too far because I don't want to enter this too low, but I do want to take advantage of a quick little scalp. I'm not going to go for a full 4 ticks, but I am going to see if I can take 2 ticks out of this because I think we're about due for a pullback, at least somewhere close to the EMA. So this is kind of, I don't want to say counter trend, but it is counter bias at the moment since we appear to have a range. We came off the low end and most likely you head up to the other end on these range days. So this is kind of counter bias, but if you understand everything that I just said about the 2 legs being, I think I may have missed this, being a pretty good way away from the EMA, and also 50% correction from the move down, then I think it's okay if you want to risk this and try and enter, but I probably missed it already, so I don't want to slide this down though, that's the thing. Alright, I'm just going to go back to pause. I'll probably end up taking this off, but I'll see what this bar does. Yeah, I'm just going to take it off. I missed this. So, and then if you look at the first leg down before the correction, we start stacking up at exactly the 50% level right there. So, just something to be aware of because it will help you at times. And that's why I wanted this short. I would have been out with my 2 ticks, but hey, it's all good. I may even have been able to get 4 ticks out of this if I'd gotten filled. So I was trying to go for 99.25. Right now it's 98.25, so it's 1 tick away from that 4 ticks. And then if you had entered on a stop beneath that, you would have been at 99, and yeah, you would have been at your 3 ticks. So yep, I'll look for something, I guess, safer. This isn't bad if you really know what's going on. You can try and take those because that's this is actually a clean setup, but you never know because sometimes it'll do this. It'll go 2 ticks or 1 tick you in, and then just keep going. So there's a bit of risk involved, but sometimes you'll get a good setup like this. But yeah, just something to think about. And then here's a possible channel. I'll see how this plays out. It's looking like I missed a pretty good short right here. What could possibly happen if we continue going lower is let me take this off. We could get another measured leg like this one down. So just something to think about. This trend line may not be valid. I'm just putting it on there just to see kind of how prices react to it. But if we do continue going lower, I won't be surprised at all if we get another leg like this. So alright, so we just blasted straight through this, so I'm going to take that off, and at this point I'm expecting another leg down like that, so yep, we're going to look for opportunities to get short. Alright, so we're down here at the lows of the day. There appears to be a pretty good amount of support, so we'll have to see if we are able to push through that and get our measured move. I have a measured move of, I think it's 90.50, so basically the first move that I measured is this one right here, just to be a bit more conservative, and that puts us down to the 90.50 price level. And there's another one right down there. I think that's about another tick. Yeah, 1 more tick, so I guess you can just add another tick onto that, and we'll see which one we get, if we get any of them. But I do think we're going lower. I think we're going to break the support pretty far away from the EMA, but I wouldn't take a long in this particular scenario unless I got a setup that looked really nicely, that looked really nice. Yeah, I'm tired, man, I can't even talk, but I'm gonna stop talking now and go back to pause. Alright, so it's looking like this thing really just ran away from us. Pretty much made that measured move, not quite just yet, but I see no way to enter this other than this initial short up here, which I missed. But other than that, I don't really see another opportunity. Let me go ahead and tweak this line and see. There it is. So with this line, I'll probably trade for a retest because this is a strong move down. So I'll probably look for a retest. We're really far away from the EMA. That fits pretty nicely if you look at that. So I may trade for a retest depending on the setup. Hopefully we get something nice. But Yeah, I'm not going to look for a long. Usually I would be looking for longs, but I need this whole move to play out first, and I need this measured move to play out before I start trying to get long. And yeah, so hopefully we get something good soon. Not pretty upset. I just wish that we had gotten an opportunity to get in this thing somewhere higher before trading down this far. Yeah. All right, so we're at that measured move right now. I went ahead and measured this leg from the top here down to there, and that's what this arrow represents. Bounced off this lower end of this trend line, so we'll see what happens. I'm not completely sure if I'm gonna look for a short. Probably shouldn't. Not quite comfortable looking for a long just yet, but we'll see what happens, man. I really don't know. Just gonna chill and take whatever I see that I like. So yeah, just gonna go back to pause until something sets up. Alright, so we overshot the lower end of this channel. We have a really strong sell-off going on right now. We have a bit of a pullback back to the EMA and the lower end. So what I did is I just measured from the bottom to the top, got a measured move of that, and went ahead and slapped another line down here. So we'll see if this is in fact a two-tiered channel, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for a second entry short or a nice short setup, and I'm going to look for a retest for this move down. It's debatable whether or not we actually do have a break. I put a ray on here since we kept going, but it's just right off these first couple closes, and it's holding prices pretty nicely. There's a debatable break right there, and then a close outside right there, and yeah, so we'll see what happens, man. Not completely sure. We got more than that measured move, so this could just turn out to be a downtrend day. We had one leg and then a two-legged correction back to about the 50% level, and then a huge sell-off. This would have been quite a short if I had actually caught that. I probably wouldn't have held it for that long. I probably would have exited right down there, or I may have gone for the measured move since we pushed through that EMA at that point, and I was expecting us to come on down to, I think this is the level right there, but I definitely wouldn't have held through all of this. So that would have been pretty incredible. But back to pause because I don't want this to get too long, and I still need to squeeze another trade into this recording, and I want to keep it moderately short so I can maintain you all's attention. But yeah. Alright, so I just realized that we probably have a break right here. Well, first of all, there's a second entry short right here, right after a pullback to the measured move area. I'm not going to take that because I'm just not too sure about it. Basically, we have a possible break right here and then two legs down, and then we started trading back up. A bit of a suspect break right there. This could turn out to be a trap, so I'm not messing with it because my video from last week, I took that second entry and boom, I got trapped. So yeah, we pushed through this EMA. I'm going to wait and see if this thing fails, and if it does fail, I may even consider a long. Yeah, so we'll see what happens, but I'm just going to go back to pause, and I'll be back. Alright, so it's looking like I just missed a pretty nice long setup. So the second entry short triggered right here, and then it failed. We went one tick higher. I didn't like going long right there because it's right back into that previous area of semi. Basically, this is the measured move, and it looks like it turned into resistance for a second. We had a one tick break. We pulled back, and if you had gone long there, you would have gotten stopped out. And then we turned back down, had a pretty bearish bar, and then turned up with a pretty bullish bar. So that popped up above there. I dropped my limit order in there, didn't get filled, and we just kind of kept going, and it's gone now. So yeah, I missed that one, but I'll look for another one, and yeah. All right, so I'm playing around with these retracement levels, and if you'll notice, basically I just measured from there down to the low, really when this sell-off started. And if you look at the 50% level, that's exactly where we're having hesitation right now. And then another thing that I measured is from the high up top down to the low. And if you look at the 50% level, that's exactly the initial lows for our day and the start off support area for our range. So this stuff, don't let anybody ever tell you. And honestly, I'm tempted to go short right here, drop a limit order in there, but I don't completely know what's going on. So This isn't as predictable as this was up top here after we had those two legs up, but don't ever let anyone tell you that this stuff isn't predictable and you can't figure out where this is going, because you definitely can. You definitely can. You can figure it out pretty accurately. So yeah, but it's cool, man. These 50% levels, I pay attention to them sometimes. So just something to think about that can help you when you're trading this. But I'm just going to go back to pause because I feel like I've spent way too much time talking. And this video, I'm not trying to have it be 30 minutes again, but yeah. Alright, so there's a failed second entry long right here. I really wanted to go short. I just wanted this pullback to be a little higher. We went out of the top and the bottom all in the same bar. I'm just not quite feeling this particular setup. I wanted this to be higher. I wanted us to maybe retest this little area. So if we get a better pullback and kind of test that again and turn down with the bearish bar, then I'll go ahead and go short. But initially I had this trend line working up. We have technically a break and then a push on up to a new high. It's kind of two legs right there, and that pulls us back to the 50% level like I showed a few minutes ago. Made a short setup, we went lower. We had a lower high right there. Wasn't really interested in that because I drew this trend line off these first two swings, and I wanted to see how we responded to that. We pushed straight through it. We bounced right there and continued to push through the EMA. So I'll see what happens. Hopefully we get some nice rejection off the EMA and that acts as resistance. And I have this trend line coming down as well because I want a short setup. I'm tired of sitting here and I want another trade. So, yep. All right, so we're going sideways right here, but if we break beneath this bar, I'm just going to go ahead and drop a limit order in there right there at 89 and try to get short. All right, so we're in this trade. A little bit of congestion right there. I'm just going to immediately tighten my stop to one tick above my signal bar, which is this bar right here. It's 6 ticks worth of risk. First contract is going to come off at 88, and then I'm going to drag this second contract all the way down here to 85. So we'll see if we can get 4 points on that. Hopefully I didn't get trapped right here. I don't like the way this backed up, and this isn't the best setup, so yeah, hopefully I don't look like a fool for entering this, but gonna go back to pause and I will be back. I may have to hop out of this one depending on how this bar closes and then the next bar opens up in trades. Alright, so it's looking like I just got trapped right here with the support right down there. Tempted to move my stop one tick higher because I can see us ticking one tick higher than this and turning down, but I can also see us just turning up and continuing to go higher. But we do have this area that could possibly act as resistance, but there's support right down here as well. So this is a very bullish bar, and then usually when you get that double bottom, this traps people to the short side, and then when it turns up like that, that's not a good sign at all. But this area of resistance right here could be our saving grace, and then the EMA is also right there as well. It's just, this is support. So we'll see. I think I may move this one tick higher. Yeah, okay, so now we have 7 ticks worth of risk on the trade, and we'll see what this bar does. But I'm gonna go back to pause. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and move my stop back down to 6 ticks because since we didn't tick above this bar initially and we started turning down, basically at this point, if we do reverse and go back up, most likely it is a trap and I probably will get stopped out. So it's safer to just play it at 6 ticks, because if we turn up, then that's not a good sign since we already turned down. So yeah, and this is also turning into a second entry short, so we'll just see what happens. Alright, so that bar closed really bearish. We're down at that support level again. I could exit right now at break even or +1. I'm not going to do that though, because I've been doing that and actually missing out on some pretty good trades. So I'm going to hold it. Yeah, I'm just going to hold it and see what happens. Alright, so I just tweaked my trend line a little bit off this swing. And if you notice, that's pretty much a perfect bounce, and we're selling off pretty hard. This is going to be my last trade of the day. I had enough. I've been here for long enough, and this kind of stressed me out a little bit. This one was a little stressful too, but that's early in the morning, so if I lost that one, I would have easily been able to come back from that, but we'll see how this one plays out. Let me put this line on the other side. Yeah, there's not too much to go off of with that one. Alright, so we're bouncing off my exit right now for the first contract. Alright, so we're out on the first contract. We should trade through that any second now. Let me go ahead and mark this trade. I entered right here. This is the better entry, although that's a little bit concerning because it's right down into that support. I mean, when I entered, it was still right. Let me move this down to break even, first of all, before I get stopped out. But this is a little bit concerning anyways, because this is technically still into that support. And yeah, the second entry is literally one tick away from the low, and if you had entered on the stop, you would have been entering at the low. So yeah, kind of scared that I'm gonna get stopped out here and this thing is still gonna go lower, but I don't. Let's do this. Let's risk half of it. So I'll leave it 2 ticks before break even, and we'll see what happens. Alright, so we just got that 5th tick. Our stop's at break even. This is a trading range, so I won't be surprised if we pull back and stop me out, but I also won't be surprised if we just take off to the downside and take back all this buying and go ahead and get our second contract down here at 4 points. I also think there's a possibility of getting another leg like this, or maybe another leg like this, since this leg is basically considerably longer than the initial leg. I know sometimes you'll get one leg down, a bigger leg, and then a smaller leg equal to the first leg down. But I'm not going to sit here all day, so instead I'm just going to take off my second contract down at the exact lows of the day, which is 85. Take 4 points on that. That'll be 8 points for the day, I think. So, yeah. Alright, so I just got stopped out on that runner. So that's it for today. A brief little recap of what I did was I went long right here on the failed second entry short. So initially we had a trend line working down. Let me put that on. We had a trend line working down, something like that. You get a break, then you get a push to a new low. You get one attempt to go lower right here, pull back, you start going sideways, and then this acts as a failed break lower. It's a second entry short that fails. It's also a second entry long, so I liked that one. There is some resistance up here. Basically, we were in a trading range, but at that point I figured it's a range day, so the overall bias is that it's going to be a range. Most likely we're going to push through this. We have a trap. These lows are progressively getting higher, so that should be good enough to take us to the upside and break this resistance. We bounced off of it, had another short trap right here. I thought I got trapped for a second, and then basically we rocketed on up. Then we had pretty much 2 legs up to the 50% mark. I showed you guys that with the Fibonacci's, and had a little three bar trading range right here. Failed break higher, good ways away from the EMA. Tried to take it, but didn't get filled on my limit order, and that would have been a hell of a trade. That thing ran for I don't know how many points. I'm not going to measure it, but yeah, we kept running down. I thought we were going to get a measured leg of this. We got a little bit more than that. The measured leg is this level right here. We had a break of our trend line right there. Bit debatable, but there's 2 legs down. You get a bounce. This you may have considered going long right there. That's pretty far away from the EMA, and if you saw that possible break with the 2 legs, you may have considered it. I didn't like it because the bias and everything has been down, and I figured that this could be a possible two-tiered channel since we did have a break or an overshoot right here. So I figured we may come on down to this other side. But short-term trend line working higher, you get a break, you get a second entry short that fails right here. You would have gotten stopped out right there, and it was right back into our measured move, which kind of turned into an area of resistance. But I liked this long once we kind of had that little failed break lower, and then you turn up with a pretty bullish bar. I tried to take it, but I got left behind, and then once again we had a 50% move for this leg down, and kind of a repeat pattern of this, slightly different, and this is really two legs again, and then that's another short opportunity that I didn't take. You have a higher low, a lower high right there that you may have wanted to take, but that's right back into the EMA and kind of right back into this little area of resistance. And then you have your failed second entry long, which triggers right here, but you would have gotten stopped out if you had entered on this bar. But I like the fact that we kind of traded up again, turned down. So I put my limit order in there once we broke one tick beneath that. This is a risky setup, I'm not even going to lie. There's support right there. And then when we had that double bottom, wasn't sure if I got trapped or not. This bullish bar is really concerning, but the thing that saved us is this area of resistance coupled with the EMA. Then we turned down with a nice bearish bar. So that's it. This is JR. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. It's Monday, so maybe I'll see you again sometime this week. Maybe I won't. All depends on how I'm feeling and if I feel like talking and making another video. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Yeah, I'll see you next time.